Good afternoon and welcome to Dice and Bolts. It is a good afternoon. The promise of this morning was seen through. And this afternoon, I'm going to do two quick videos. This is the first one. And there's pretty much only one game that needs that many D6s. Oh. Hero System. This is the 6th edition. I've got 5th edition. I've got Champions 3rd edition. Was there a 4th? It gets a little bit messy. I used to love this as a superhero game. I love it as a fantasy game. But when you realise that this cyclopean tome of some... There's the reference, 450 pages is just character creation. And the actual game rules are in a separate, another hardback volume here. It's a little bit weighty when you compare it to some of the kind of streamlined story-focused games that I'm playing. And it gets ridiculed for being so absolutely massive. However, the core dice and bolts of the system is really quite straightforward and isn't as bad as all that. Let me explain. So every skill that your character will have, combat's a little bit different. You have a skill rating, which is a number minus. So very basic familiarity with the skill will be like an 8 minus or a 9 minus. Professional level will be about 11 to 12 minus, and 15, 16, 17 higher than that. And effectively, 3d6 equal to or lower than the skill that you've got. It's a roll low system. I never used to pick up that I didn't really like the idea of these things, but that's basically it. Combat is something similar. You would have a combat value, and you're basically after 11 or less. So you would have a positive combat value, say +4. Your enemy has a defensive combat value, say +4. So you just need 11 or less on the dice. That one there. Where all of these extra dice come in is when you're looking at damage rolls, which is something completely different. Damage, there are two types. You've got normal damage and killing damage. Normal damage, so from a blaster bolt or whatever, you tend to have more dice. And then we've got 10, 25, 30 points of stun damage. And then you read the dice for the body, which is like the actual wounds rather than bruising. So you get rid of the ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dice. So 8 points of body and 30 points of stun. Take your armor off that, take it off the targets. Nice and simple. You then have what's called killing damage, which tends to have fewer dice, but you'd also roll a dice of a separate color for the stun multiplier. So this goes like that, and that would be 10 points of body, and you take one off this one, so there's 5, and 50 points of stun. So the two examples that I've rolled, which is, what's that, a 6, 9 dice normal or 2d6 killing. The 2d6 is a little bit more powerful points wise, but as you can see, it does a lot more wounds taken that way around. That's the dice and bolts of it. 3d6 roll under a difficulty number based on the skill that you've got. You're going to get plus or minus 1, you know, here and there from factors, but that is the dice and bolts of 1,000 pages of rules. Roll well, and I'll see you around.